Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Bella at Kcomer, joined by Kitty. Kcomer is the leading market intelligence provider in China.
Hello, great to see you here.
Alright, for the next 30 minutes, we are going to explore the titanium dioxide industry impacts caused by COVID-19 coronavirus. A recorded version of this webinar will be available. We will upload it to YouTube and send you the link. If you have any questions, send it in the chat box anytime, and we will personally email you after the webinar to get you an answer. Alright, let's start.
Today we are so happy to see many old friends and new partners here. Before we start, I would like to take a few minutes to present the latest development of our companies. As the world battles hard against COVID-19 coronavirus, CCM launched a new platform to help our clients to get the real-time update information about the pandemic in domestic and overseas. Firstly, let's take a look at the COVID-19 global monitoring map. You can see the existing confirmed cases, community confirmed cases, community cure cases, and death toll respectively. Insert the country in the search bar, or you could move your mouse to select the country. Then you can see the latest data. Next, you could see the trend of epidemic data. Choose 2 to 4 countries to have comparison. Here we choose China, the United States, Italy, and Spain, where you can see China's existing confirmed cases reached the peak in the middle of February. Then the number gradually decreased thanks to the effective timely measures. At the end of March, the epidemic is basically under control. However, meanwhile, the confirmed cases have risen sharply in other countries. What's more, the local news and the travel advisory are available. You could explore more after the webinar later. This website mainly shows you the general global trend under COVID-19. We could also learn from the industrial aspect to see what were the hidden impacts caused by the coronavirus. This is a special platform we built to update the latest information for the industrial development under COVID-19. This is the policy map gathering the policy issued by each province of China related to the epidemic. Also, you could see our major three industries: agriculture, chemical, food and feed, and also the finance and economic market intelligence at this special period. Following is the information of the policy and the influence price and production. How will the price go, and what's the capacity and output effect by the epidemic? You could find the answer here. What's more, the international spotlight and the expert opinion will be provided to you, and you are also welcome to share your insights with us. Okay, without any delay, let's start our topic. With the outbreak in China basically under control, more and more factories and offices restart. China, the world factory, is getting back to normal. Many of our audience are concerned about the resumption of TiO2 industry. What are the major difficulties at present? How about the export situation during the epidemic as domestic TiO2 plays a decisive role in global market? What about the resumption of downstream products like coating, practice, and construction industry? What stimulus policy the Chinese government has adopted? What new change will take place in TiO2 industry? And what impact will they bring to China and the world? Today's webinar will provide you with the latest information. Well, Bella, could you tell us something about the current situation of China TiO2 industry?
Of course, firstly, most titanium dioxide manufacturers will resume production, but only a few employees return to work, and transportation recovers slowly. CCM predicts that the output of domestic titanium dioxide in the first quarter 2020 will drop by 20 to 25% year-on-year, impacting the performance of enterprises. As the virus spreads globally, more countries enforce a lockdown to constrain the movement of people. The downstream trend of titanium dioxide output is predicted to last until the second quarter of 2020. Secondly, the recent titanium dioxide prices are still on the rise. as supplies are tight and the prices of ilmenite remain at high levels. Thirdly, more downstream coating and plastic enterprises have resumed production. Demands for titanium dioxide grow. However, the real estate market was depressed and many construction projects have been suspended, dampening demands for titanium dioxide to some extent.
So it seems the pandemic affected not only the supply but also the demand in China. Of course, worldwide.
Well, yes, correctly. Since manufacturers are reopened, there must be some obstacles in the way. Kitty, do you know the major manufacturers, their difficulties that they encounter when resuming work and production?
Well, according to the publicized statistics of titanium dioxide branch of China National Coating Industry Association and interviews between CCM and Enterprise, TiO2 manufacturers mainly face four difficulties. First, inventory of raw materials and sales of products decline due to the epidemic situation and transportation restrictions. Second, TiO2 inventory of most manufacturers increased as time for downstream enterprise to resume normal production was unpredictable. Third, the frontline workers of some manufacturers were in short supply. Meanwhile, there has been a shortfall of epidemic prevention material, such as face masks. Fourth, over 75% of the manufacturers say that they didn't have enough circulating funds.
So, in response to this circumstance, effective measures and immediate actions must be taken.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about the action the Manufacturer and Industrial Association took and what measure the government adopted.
Well, as for the manufacturers, they ensure timely supply of raw materials for production, improve productivity of devices, expand recruitment, etc. Some manufacturers form their own transportation teams. As titanium dioxide is not necessary material for epidemic prevention, the central and local governments did not issue incentives for titanium dioxide manufacturers. There was some general policy for the industry covering five aspects. First, lift the restriction on transportation and ensure normal transportation needs of production and materials and normal sales of enterprises. Ensure supply of epidemic prevention materials for employees. Second, reduce, waive, and defer employers' social insurance and corporate income tax. Third, provide care for non-local employees, especially technicians, for enterprises under strict epidemic control and prevention. Fourth, is restriction on credit to increase working capital loans to enterprises and lower loan interest rate appropriately to help manufacturers resume normal production as soon as possible. Fifth, consider including losses of exports and compensation for breach of contract into export credit insurance. This policy has not been implemented as the government is still soliciting public opinion.
So the government are getting ready for a downturn, and all these measures really have great significance for enterprise to tide over the difficulty.
Well, so totally agree. As production start recovering, next we should consider about the market. According to the historical data, it showed that one-third of the domestic titanium dioxide were exported. Kitty, let's talk about the export situation.
Sure, in the early stage of COVID-19 outbreak, CCM analyzed in February and March issue of titanium dioxide monthly report that domestic enterprise will focus on developing global market due to inadequate domestic demand. General domestic industry have still suspended production before mid-February. Particularly, many construction projects were suspended. Seen from the current monitor data, enterprises make great effort to maintain export market share, like increasing the number of staff and expense on transportation. TiO2 manufacturers in inland region face even tough challenges. Motor transportation become difficult and prices were high. Some inland manufacturers changed to railway transportation and managed to send TiO2 out, but the transportation took a longer time due to a logistic turnover.
Well, it is such a hard time.
Yes, as the epidemic spread globally, many TiO2 export destination countries were locked down. How will China's TiO2 manufacturer respond to this new challenge? Bella, could you share some details with us?
In March, the epidemic broke out in Italy, Spain, and the United States and other titanium export destinations. Manufacturers, who held optimistic attitudes previously, start considering strategies under the new situation. Based on CCM interviews, we summarize the major measures that domestic titanium dioxide manufacturers will adopt: maintain low operating rates to avoid overstock, speed up the retrieving of capital, adopt new network marketing tools, urge governments to make supporting policies like tax reduction and interest subsidy, intensify development of global emerging markets. China still has restrictions on the movement of people, therefore titanium dioxide manufacturers and local governments are unable to expand domestic demand and invigorate the market.
Well, absolutely. That's very insightful.
Well, as titanium dioxide production gradually recovers to normal level, our audience might be curious about the resumption and production of downstream industry like coating, plastic, etc. Do they have strong demand for titanium dioxide?
Yes, coating and practice market are the two major application markets of domestic TiO2. Based on CCM historical data, these two industries consume over 80% of domestic TiO2. Coating and practice enterprise have basically returned to work and start placing orders for raw material to meet production needs as the current epidemic situation is stable. As we know, Guangdong, Zhejiang, and Jiangsu province are main producing areas of China's practice. Let me simply introduce the local condition of this province. 72.4% of enterprises involved in the research of CPPIA were from Jiangsu, Guangdong, and Zhejiang province. In Jiangsu province, 88.1% of practice manufacturers resumed production, ranking the top. The figure in Guangdong province, Shanghai city, and Zhejiang province hit 86%, 85%, and 83.3%. The average world resumption rate in other regions reached 69.2%. The distribution of manufacture with high world resumption rate is consistent with that of the development degree of local economy.
Well, that's true. Very insightful.
Let's take a look at the real estate market. It's depressed. Many construction projects are suspended. It will directly affect the demand of coating. So what difficulty does the coating market encounter?
Yes, the real estate industry is facing great difficulties. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, in January to February 2020, the investment in domestic real estate development hit $144.89 billion, down by 16.3% year-on-year. Residential investment reached $104.83 billion, down by 60%. The real estate industry is estimated to in tough times resulting from reduced construction projects, weakening production and sales of coating industry. The short-term impact of the COVID-19 epidemic on coating industry in Guangdong province is huge. Most enterprises expected increased difficulties in 2020. The overall coating industry maintains stable in employment, as none of the enterprises announced massive layoffs so far. Kitty, can you analyze the impacts brought by real estate industry on coating and titanium dioxide market for us?
Yes, let's look at the chart. The following data of real estate industry from National Bureau of Statistics of China is for your reference. In January to February, investment in real estate development in eastern China hit $19.36 billion, down by 12.5% year-on-year. Investment in central China reached $24.8 billion, down by 25.9% year-on-year. Investment in western and northeast China attained $27.98 billion and $1.76 billion, dropping by 18.6% year-on-year and 61% year-on-year. The following data Table will show you the trend of building construction area of real estate from January to February.
Well, very impressive.
Since these figures show a downward trend, does it mean a booming situation at present?
Well, although the above data shows the great challenges for coating and titanium dioxide industries, we also discovered that the situation is picking up based on monitor data. On March 8, 2020, the Minister of Housing and Urban Rural Development of the People's Republic of China released the statistics which show that among 192,500 house building and municipal infrastructure projects, 111,900 projects have restarted, accounting for 58.15%. The work resumption rate in the south was higher as the weather in the north was cold. CCM believes that manufacturers will overcome all these difficulties with recent improvement of domestic epidemic situation. Nevertheless, we need more data to estimate how long manufacturers will fully restore production. As for the future impacts of the present real estate industry, do you have any idea, Kitty?
Yes, as operating rate of domestic building projects, sale of new home and second-hand housing transactions were at low levels. Thus, demand for coatings declined and consequently TiO2 demand shrink. Nevertheless, houses are rich demands of Chinese people, so home buying and decoration demands are predicted to increase in the near future as the epidemic situation is stabilized. However, if the disease continues spreading globally, domestic export-oriented economic structure will be affected, discouraging enterprise from investing and weakening domestic consumption demands. As a result, demand for coating and TiO2 are likely to fall in the medium to long term. CCM believes that this potential change will have profound impact on coating and TiO2 industry. For instance, small and medium enterprises will face greater financial pressures and debt problems. We need to stay vigilant to see whether the weight of bankruptcy will come under pressure from domestic and global markets.
The global macroeconomic environment is still uncertain and even tends to deteriorate, but the present domestic titanium dioxide prices shows a continuously upward trend. For example, Lehman Billions, CNNCTD raised their titanium dioxide prices. So what can we learn from the price rise? Although the recent titanium dioxide prices fluctuate with the changes of the COVID-19 epidemic in China and around the world, the overall titanium dioxide prices follow the growing trend of last year. The time market supplies were mainly triggered by inadequate preparation for epidemic prevention, restricted transportation of raw materials and titanium dioxide products. In the early stage of the COVID-19 outbreak, that is before the China Spring Festival, most enterprises thought little of the epidemic as the center of the outbreak was in Wuhan City, Hubei province, and titanium dioxide production capacity in this province account for only 7% of the national total. Most enterprises hardly stock up raw materials and epidemic prevention materials in advance.
In late February, the epidemic has been brought under control domestically and more enterprises resumed work and production. More inquiry were also seen, but the operating rate of TiO2 manufacture were low because of the limited inventory of raw material and restricted logistics. TiO2 market supply were tight and unit prices stayed at high level. Enterprises in need of products and no choice but accept the pricing, increasing confidence of TiO2 manufacturers to raise their pricing. At that time, there were only a few reports of COVID-19 outside China, as the epidemic just broke out globally. CCM interviewed some domestic manufacturers, and they were optimistic about the full recovery of TiO2 market. Operating rates of manufacturers continue growing. This optimistic attitude could be seen from the TiO2 price rise of global enterprises, such as Venator and some leading domestic TiO2 producers. In March, the epidemic broke out in Italy, Spain, the United States, and other important TiO2 export countries. The WHO also warned that COVID-19 could become a pandemic, which cooled down the manufacturers who held optimistic attitude previously. TiO2 prices have still been on the rise currently, but some manufacturers become cautious about offering quotation and start considering the development of global pandemic. They work out a proper operating rate to avoid overstock and ensure sufficient liquidity of working capital. Based on the current high ilmenite prices and tight supplier, CCM analyzed that TiO2 prices are likely to stay at the present level or edge up.
Wow, yes, I believe so.
Looking back at China's fly again epidemic, we found that the policy of the central government played a decisive role in the development of different industries in China. What about the feature of present policies? Please tell us more.
Considering the current domestic and global epidemic situation, the government has adopted moderate policies, such as reducing or waiving corporate taxes, free passes with regard to logistics and transportation, lowering deposit reserve ratio, increasing capital liquidity.
That leads up to the end of this webinar. So let me summarize the main points of today's meeting. Domestic epidemics have a weakening impact on TiO2 industry and TiO2 operating rate climbs steadily. TiO2 prices are predicted to continue rising in the short run. However, the global spread of disease adds uncertainty to the improvement of China's TiO2 industry. The central government are likely to sustain mild economic stimulus policy to ensure overall resumption of various sectors.
Well, we just mentioned that the titanium dioxide export situation in China. K-Commerce, another branch analysis, mainly provided China and global import-export data to monitor the trade flow. Well, here you can see the titanium dioxide China export data in January, including the port of destination, the destination country, and data specification. Many clients are interested in the chain term, FOB, CIF, and CNF. What's more, you can know the unit price, value, and the quantity. The business company here are the exporters. As we all know, the exporters are not always the manufacturers. They could also be the traders. If you want to find your potential suppliers, we can help you to analyze the manufacturers behind the trader. In the export perspective sheet, we made a summary of the general titanium dioxide export situation. You can see the annotated and rutile titanium dioxide total export quantity and the average unit price. We also pick up the destination countries with the export volume. And here you can see the China exporters total export quantity during this month. Well, it's very helpful for you to monitor your common competitors or find your strong partners and develop the marketing strategy in time. Well, if you want this sample, this January sample, you please contact your account manager. Well, let's wrap up here. Thank you very much for attending, and we hope you could get some key points out of the presentation. If you have any questions left, please write them down in the chat box. We can gather all of them and answer them detailed to your email as soon as possible.
All the information was enabled by our brand CCM and chain analysis. If you want to find out more, I recommend you to have a look at our website and contact our team for any question and inquiry.
Well, thank you again and have an awesome day. Please keep safe and be strong.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.